What is up, guys? How we doing? We just got Persephone her shot, and we're on call, so I may have to end this video abruptly. I appreciate all the love you guys have been giving me this week, and I'm sorry for my silly video yesterday, but it's not often I get to talk about something silly and lighten up, So I talked about a silly subject for the hell of it, and but today that ends. I want to talk about vaccinations, because I just got done going to the health department to get her a vaccine, and the nurse there said that 10% of kids around here are getting vaccinated, and there was a measles outbreak, and they just had a recent pertussis case, and I cannot stand the fact that vaccines are a political thing, or that COVID and a pandemic turned into a political thing. Look, I get that vaccines are scary. Watching your child get a shot sucks. It hurts, and it hurts to watch them be in pain. And I'm not going to tell anybody what to do, what to think. My videos are not meant to tell you what to think, what to do. It's meant to point out how to not think. And well, if you're just anti-vaccine because you're sharing misinformation on Facebook, you're stupid. You are. I'm sorry. Do your research. Actually do your research. And do what is best for your kid. If you've done all the research, gathered all the facts, and you still think that getting a fucking measles vaccine is bad, that the risk of getting that outweighs the risk of not, then don't get it. But I don't think if you actually do your research, you will come to that conclusion because, mathematically, right? Yes, there are risks to getting vaccines, but mathematically, the risks are lower with getting vaccines than if you don't. If you don't get a measles vaccine, your chances of getting measles are significantly higher. If you don't get the pertussis vaccine, your chances of getting it are significantly higher and getting seriously sick from it. I don't think people understand what vaccines even do. To be honest with you, I really don't. After seeing the COVID vaccine come out and seeing all the people say, oh, well, you can still get it, so what's the point? Vaccines don't keep you from getting something. Vaccines make your body to where you already have antibodies built up for this disease, so when you get it, the symptoms are not bad. Theoretically, if you get COVID, you shouldn't get as sick as you did without the vaccine. That's what vaccines do. And people just look at it as it's nothing, that it's an unneeded risk, and if you get a vaccine, it could kill your kid, and then you get a fucking measles outbreak or pertussis, and then your kid dies anyway. That's called Darwinism. Vaccines can lead to complications, yes, but I know way less people that have had complications due to vaccines than people that have had complications due to not getting vaccines. So, I don't know what to tell you there. You get a measles vaccine, you can still get measles, but you shouldn't have the symptoms from it. You shouldn't get severely sick. That's what vaccines do. And it's like people are like, well, if you're going to get it anyway, it doesn't make sense. It does make sense. You just don't understand pathology. Look, again, I'm not trying to tell you what to do. Vaccines are important, though. My grandmother and I have been talking about it. When she was a kid, she got measles and fucking a shit ton of other things, and it was just more common to get that because they didn't have vaccines then. Tell me that we're doing worse now than we were then. Things that are stomped out today with good reason were huge back then. These are huge scientific advancements, and it's imagine that no vaccines existed in the world, and we still had to deal with all those things. Polio, chickenpox, pertussis, that's whooping cough, right? And measles, all that shit. life would be a lot worse. That I feel like the percentage, like the likelihood of something bad happening from a vaccine is way lower than the likelihood of something bad happening from a fucking disease if you don't get vaccinated. So why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? It is so sad to discover. I don't really even know why the nurse told me that. But like, cause she was sitting here just basically admiring the fact that I was all caught up on her vaccines and shit, and she was like, nobody else is doing that around here. Only 10%. 10%, man. And I was texting that to my grandmother, and she's like, well, that's not a political thing. It is. You guys have managed to turn it into a political thing. Congratulations. It's not. It's fucking pathology, but you've managed to turn it into politics, and I don't get it. Do you know how many customers I've had that have sat here and berated me for getting vaccines, or berated me for wearing a mask whenever I was serving tables during the COVID outbreak, and then sharing false information saying that it's impossible for a baby to get it and blah blah, even though my baby got it a week later? Like, it is very much a political thing for some fucking reason, and I do not get it. And it just so happens to be that a lot of people that are anti-vaccines are on the right. But there are people on the left that are anti-vaccines too, and I just think that that is stupid. What is your factual scientific evidence for as to why you think it's better to not have vaccines versus to have them? Provide me with it. Yes, there is a slight risk there can be complications. There is. There's a slight risk I could walk outside, trip, snap my fucking ankle, and then crack my head open. There's a slight risk every time I get in my car we could get into an accident. Yes, there's a slight risk. Vaccines will never be 100% risk-free. But the risk of you getting sick and dying from these diseases, your child getting sick and dying from these fucking diseases, is much greater than the risk without the vaccine, than the risk of something bad happening from the vaccine. So why? The fact that there's a measles outbreak on the news, does that not put your theory to the test there? Does that not kind of disprove that not getting vaccinated is a fucking good idea? Oh, well, if there's an outbreak, then that means the vaccinations weren't working. No, there's an outbreak because there's a bunch of people not getting their kids vaccinated. So a kid gets measles, another kid gets it and has bad fucking side effects from it, bad symptoms, because they're not vaccinated either. Like, the way you guys argue this is just fucking stupid. Oh, well, why do you want to keep your kid away from the other sick kid then if it's vaccinated? Because it's always better to make sure there is 100% risk-free. Like, why would you knowingly let your kid, even if it's vaccinated, around another kid that's sick? Why would you do that? Again, another stupid counterpoint. But you guys just hear, oh, well, you can still catch it, so what's the point? And that's just so dumb. It's just dumb. It doesn't keep you from catching it. It lowers the risk of you catching it, and if you do, it lowers the risk of you having serious symptoms and dying from it. So, yeah, kids are dying because of their parents' neglect to do actual fucking research, and that's just insane to me. But hey, remember, I'm a bad parent because I said fuck and I stood up for minorities and said stop shitting on Black History Month. But you guys are out here literally getting your kids killed by not getting them vaccinated and making fun of a 3-year-old because you don't like somebody's politics. This world is stupid. Goddamn pertussis case. Measles outbreaks. These things have been stomped out and they're coming back alive because parents are just too stupid to vaccinate it because they're part of this anti-vaccination group on Facebook that shares falsely incorrect information. And rather than look at the scientific evidence behind vaccines, you look at the scientific evidence against vaccines, and that's the only number you seem to pay attention to. look, I get that there's a risk and that this is one of those things that it's like, to each their own. You're a parent. I'm not going to fucking call you a bad parent if you don't get your kid vaccinated. But if you don't get your kid vaccinated without any scientific evidence to do so, just because it goes against your political agenda, your beliefs, whatever, because of the factual incorrect information that you're sharing, yes, I consider you to be a bad parent. Because you're putting your child in harm's way because of your fucking agenda. You are risking your child's life. And I don't get that. And it's also hilarious to me that these are people that were vaccinated as kids that never got sick from these viruses, and then they're like, yeah, I'm not going to vaccinate my kid because it goes against my beliefs. Okay, man. I just made a video the other day about how I got my ass chewed for literally getting the COVID vaccine. I got fucking decimated by COVID and to this day have breathing problems from it. So I got the vaccine in hopes that, like, fuck it, it can't hurt. Like, at this point, sure, probably got natural antibodies built up against it, but felt like it couldn't hurt to go ahead and get myself it. Went ahead and got my kid the vaccine too. And I got fucking chewed out by a hillbilly customer for doing so. You know how fucking stupid that is? Like, no, vaccines aren't political, but they've become that, and I don't understand why. When I have customers berating me for getting my child vaccinated, you're dumb. You're putting your child in harm's way, risking his or her life because of your fucking agenda. I bet you send them to fucking Bible school. I bet you sit here and shove your political bullshit down their throat. I'm tired of making these videos, man. Vaccines should not be a political thing. The COVID outbreak shouldn't have been a political thing. If COVID taught me one thing, and that's if we ever get a plague, if fucking bird flu, swine flu, is one genetic mutation away from being transmittable from human to human. Did you know that? And that has no cure and 100% kill rate. Now imagine that was the plague. We would all die because people wouldn't believe it. Because people would be so selfish and so, oh no, I don't trust the government. But then you turn around and bootlick the government. You turn around and suck off Trump and kiss the government's ass. But when it comes to getting vaccines for your kid and saving their lives, and when it comes to getting a fucking COVID shot or wearing a mask so you don't spread a pandemic, now you're anti-government. Now fuck everybody. It's awfully pro-life of you. It's very, like, do you guys even know what you believe? You shit on me for making a White History Month video. Can't come up with a counterpoint. Start making fun of my 3-year-old child. Yeah. Get your kids vaccinated. Or do the research. If you have your valid criticisms for not getting your kid vaccinated, then fine. If you have a family member that's been affected negatively by vaccines and you're scared that that could have something to do with your genetics or DNA, so that scares you out of getting a vaccine, I can understand that too. But to me, the math just doesn't add up. No matter what oh my god, oh. I just grabbed, oh my god. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I think I made my point. I'm not gonna continue to just repeat the same thing. I just can't believe I live in a state where most of the people around here are so pro-life, but they're willingly getting their kids sick because they don't believe in fucking science and pathology and whatever. And every time there's been a new vaccine, there's always been superstition around it, and the government isn't trying to kill you through vaccines, dude. Stop being dumb, do research, and come to the best conclusion for your child. But if you do your research, that conclusion should be getting vaccines. But whatever. Love you guys. Sorry for the politics, but, like, to discover that is pretty irritating. And to sit here and be called a bad father by people that, you know, willingly kill their kids because of their beliefs are, it's pretty insane. They're hiking up the numbers. They weren't killed by COVID. They were killed by COVID and conditions. So COVID wasn't actually the reason that they died. That's like saying a gun didn't kill somebody. The fucking blood loss did. You know, like just watching you people argue for as to why you shouldn't get a vaccine is so Darwinism, dude. Fucking Darwinism. Oh, and I will be streaming some Fortnite tonight. If you guys care, Daddio97 1835. I repeat, Daddio97 1835. My streams have been pretty fun lately. Gotten a couple dubs. Hope to see you there. Anyways, love you guys. Bye.